You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show on demand. Good for you. Now download the KFYO app and listen live weekday afternoons 5 to 7 p.m. Central.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Good evening, Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Midland, Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth, down in Houston, over in El Paso, and anywhere else, inside or outside the great state of Texas, wherever you may be listening. Welcome in to the Chad Hasty Show on this Monday, September 9th of 2024. We welcome you into the program. A big show today, as we'll have a couple of guests joining us. We'll preview the upcoming debate. Some good news for Donald Trump out there, as it looks as though the momentum for Kamala Harris, we talked about this at the end of last week, some more evidence over the weekend that the campaign of joy, the momentum that Kamala Harris has had since, I don't know, more than 50 days ago when she was installed as the Democrat nominee, that momentum it looks like it's finally over. It looks as though it's finally over. And now the Harris team is trying desperately to figure out how they're going to debate Donald Trump. We'll get into that today on the program. Looking forward to tomorrow night's big debate that's going to be on ABC, simulcast in a few different places. And, of course, if you're in Lubbock, we want to see you. We want you to come out and join us at the KFYO Presidential Debate Watch Party at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. The doors open at 7 p.m. The debate begins at 8 p.m. You're going to get there early because I anticipate it's going to be packed. I anticipate that it's going to be packed. We're not going to be in the largest theater that they have because of Beetlejuice. But, you know, hey, if it were like Joe Biden running and you had Beetlejuice, well, Beetlejuice would actually have probably a lot more strength and have it together, and you'd be able to understand Beetlejuice a little bit more than Joe Biden. But no, we'll be in the next largest theater from the largest theater, but space will be limited. So first come, first serve. It's absolutely free, thanks to our great sponsors at Williams Brake Tune and Tire, the Knife Guys, and West Texas Fireplaces. So it's absolutely free to get in. You do need to pay for your own popcorn, your beverages, other food items that you may want. But yeah, get there early, get a seat. And even if they require you to get a ticket, which I don't believe they will be, but if they do ask for you to go and get a ticket, just go and get one. It's free. You do not get a guaranteed seat. It's open seating, first come, first serve. Find a seat, sit down. We'll also have some extra chairs available, and there'll be some standing room as well if you want to show up and stand up and join with everybody, boo and clap and do all that kind of good stuff while we're out there at the Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. We'll have some giveaways. I believe we'll have some giveaways, and maybe I can't guarantee anything, but maybe the sweater will show up as well. There's rumors that the sweater may show up to the debate, and we'll say maybe he'll give some stuff away. maybe he'll address the audience, address the crowd, and tell you his thoughts as to what's going on. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night. So come out and join us. We've got that going on today on the program. Preston Weems with a Hub City barbecue, big event going on here in Lubbock. And if it's barbecue related, we're going to talk about it. And I will be one of the judges of the Hub City barbecue. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that, how you can get involved and get your tickets. And then at 6:05, Scott Braddock, editor of Quorum Report, he'll join the program to get us the latest going on around the state politically, and a little preview as well of the debate from his standpoint. So we've got all of that going on. We've got some other statewide news to get into, a lot of national headlines that we'll be getting into. One texter who started off even before the show just asking, is Chad back? Yes, I am back. I was back at the end of last week, my friend. But we're back. We're ready to go and get you ready for the upcoming debate and everything else making news out there. We want to hear from you. You can text in at any time, 806-680-2790. Again, that's 806-680-2790. When you do text in, give us your name, where you're listening from. That way we can give you the nice proper shout out whenever you do text in. And then you can also give us a call at any time at 1-800-687-0790. The first voice you hear from when you do dial in, Nick. Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
We did get to meet beforehand, before the show, for the one thing you look forward to the most is us talking before
We
before
did?
the show.
We had a meeting?
It was very brief. I want to say 32 seconds worth.
That's when you stopped by the studio?
That was when I swung by for about half a minute
Okay, gotcha.
and then left.
That really wasn't a meeting, but okay.
It's more than what we have done in
Sure,
the past.
that's true.
Better than nothing.
Good point.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you. I'm going home today.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to eat? What am I going to eat for dinner?
I have no idea.
Mozzarella sticks.
Okay.
Mozzarella sticks.
And that's it?
I mean,
just mozzarella sticks.
my question is that does that constitute a meal? Does mozzarella sticks? Am I valid for just eating mozzarella sticks for dinner? No sauce, by the way.
Okay. I mean, sure, I guess.
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
I wouldn't say that that's a meal.
Sure.
But I would say that's a good snack.
Right. It's a good appetizer.
It's a good appetizer. It's a good snack. Like, how many mozzarella? Like, do you have like 20 mozzarella sticks that you're gonna have?
No. I enough where by the time I'm done, I can think, you know what? I'm good for not eating for a while. So probably 10, 15, yeah.
10 or 15 mozzarella
maybe 20,
sticks.
yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
a lot of
maybe.
mozzarella. Where are you getting these mozzarella
Oh, they're
sticks?
frozen. They're
Okay.
frozen. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to go to like...
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, you're not going to go
I don't
and
go
pick
places.
up... Like, I was going to just throw it out there. I'm going to give them a plug. Spanky's.
Sure.
And get some of their giant...
The fried cheese?
The giant... Yes, yeah. That's a meal by itself. If you were to order that, I would say that's a meal.
Yeah. So I've had that once in my life.
Yeah.
And my one grievance, it was a little greasy. A little greasy for me. Now we've talked about this.
I know. You're also
too cheesy.
There's too much cheese. Yeah, I know.
Too much bacon, too much cheese.
Yeah, I know.
Those exist for me.
Yeah, I know.
Too much grease, a very common problem. It was good. I
Yeah.
liked it. The fried cheese that they have, delicious.
Don't change
But
anything,
a little,
Spanky's.
a little greasy
Don't listen to him.
for me.
He's crazy.
That's why I'm going to have my cheap, frozen
Yeah.
mozzarella sticks
Yeah.
tonight. Hey, maybe I'll throw in an apple. I think that'll be good.
That's an odd combination, but okay.
One apple.
Yeah.
And 15 mozzarella sticks.
Why are you doing 15 mozzarella sticks?
Because I got to make it a meal. I can't just do like 4.
Do you not have other food items?
I just went shopping. I have plenty of food, but I've been thinking all day.
You just want mozzarella
I
sticks.
really want some mozzarella sticks.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. I'm not gonna. That's you can make a meal out of whatever.
See, I thought for sure you'd knock it. The fact
Yeah.
that I want to eat basically an appetizer for for my meal.
No, I'm fine with
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, no.
I was not expecting that.
Just because it's an appetizer. Let me say this. Yesterday, I may or may not have had a lunch that consisted of queso from Caprock Cafe.
Did you just go in with your hand and scoop the?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
I
Okay,
had some
good,
chips.
good. Okay.
I had some chips.
Okay.
And some of the queso. And let me tell you, it was delicious.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. I think restaurants like to they like to push these as starters.
Yeah.
They're appetizers. They get your appetite going. But it's like,
well, you share them with
sure,
people.
I could eat a bloomin' onion, and that'll be my meal. If I eat the whole bloomin' onion, I'm probably good for a while.
You probably are.
Probably. Yeah. Again, a little greasy, but very good.
Let's see a texture. Hey, Teddy Jacks has cheese bricks too. I see. Here's the thing, and I don't know if this makes me weird or not. I am actually a huge fan of mozzarella sticks and fried cheese. Okay, and maybe this is why I'm not knocking you, Nick, but I do have a hierarchy of cheese sticks, and you call them whatever you want: mozzarella sticks, cheese logs, whatever you want to call them. Fried cheese. Okay, we all know deep fried cheese holders is basically what it is, and I do have a hierarchy of the best to the worst when it comes to fried cheese. And I can't remember Teddy Jacks. I think I like the ones over at Teddy Jacks, but I can't remember. Teddy Jacks, they've got a lot of different food items over there. And it's just they've got so much food. It's so good. So I'm sure I like them, but I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But so mozzarella sticks, I've got no problem with. Now, Dick, I do have a slight problem with you going and getting the frozen mozzarella sticks and not going to one of the 5,000 restaurants that we have. Yeah. Easily 5,000 restaurants that we have that would serve fresh, hot mozzarella sticks to you.
Yeah.
At a great price, and they would taste fantastic as well.
So I think there's two things that come to mind.
Yeah.
First of all, it's price and convenience. Okay, so the price wise, I didn't mean to. I got the family size, and I don't remember what brand it was, but I got the family size of it. So the box was so big, it was split into 2 bags. So I have 2 bags worth. I don't know how many are in at 40. I don't know how many are in each bag.
Sure.
Of just loose mozzarella sticks. They came with the sauce, but I don't ever. If it's a frozen product, I don't usually eat the sauce. I'll just use whatever sauce I have at home, or I just won't use any sauce. So I kind of threw that to the side. But still, I have all the mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
And then as far as convenience, like I said, I don't go places. I don't have a life. I'm either home or I'm at work. So
this is sad.
I agree. If I go someplace, 100%, it'll be much better. Everything's better, not frozen. But I'm not too picky. I'll eat it. I'll know I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's all I really care about.
Texture, what do you expect from a guy who doesn't like tortillas? Who doesn't like tortillas?
Don't think I ever said I don't like tortillas.
Who said that?
Making up drama.
Yeah. Let's see. Fair fried cheese sticks? ? Delicious. Yeah. The fried cheese on a stick. Those are fantastic.
I've had a fried Oreo, but I've never had a fried cheese
Oreo's
on a
good.
stick.
The fried cheese on a stick is so good out at the South Plains Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what also?
Very good.
Fair food is very filling. And is that just me? I eat one corn dog, and I'm pretty much I'm out. I eat one corn dog at the fair.
Is it a small
No.
regular corn dog, or the giant corn dog?
I guess small is in your normal.
Yeah, your normal corn dog.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was that.
Okay.
And I just remember. Now it's been quite a few years.
Yeah.
But I remember the last time I went to the fair, I had one corn dog, and I was out for. I don't know. I just didn't want to eat. I wasn't hungry or anything.
No, I get the when I go to the South Plains Fair, and gosh, now I'm trying to remember which booth it is, but it's right dab in the middle. You walk into the fair, you go through, you go right through the gates. You're walking down, and where it splits, you've got you got the booth that does like the foot long corn dogs. I can't remember. I think it's a church. Sorry, church. Can't remember which church it is, but they do the corn dogs on a stick, the foot-long corn dog on a stick. You can slather some mustard on there, and then you can get a drink, and then it costs you like $1 to refill that cup. And here's the deal. If you bring your cup back each year, just $1 refill. Little hack there. Just $1 refill. You don't have to pay the extra money for the souvenir cup. You don't have to worry about that at all. Fantastic. Those are that's a good corn dog right there. Every year I look forward to that one corn dog. 806-680-2790. We've made everyone very hungry already when it comes to fried cheese and fair food. 'Tis the season for that. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and more.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at kfyo.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, debate night, everyone. The big one is here, and perhaps the only presidential debate. We'll have to see how Kamala Harris does and what the outcome is in the polls. We'll break down what to expect, plus be joined by our own Uncle Bill. That's right, Bill O'Reilly, with his debate predictions, analysis, and more. Join us on Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
Back on the Chad HD Show. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Boy, it felt great this morning. It felt great yesterday morning. Out walking around. I think the low is right around 58 degrees, 57. Oh, felt great out here. Just a little taste of the fall. I know we're not in full fall yet. Don't get confused, people. Don't get into this. I still believe we're in false fall. We're still going to see some 90s out there, okay? Just don't forget. We get tricked every year into thinking fall is here. At some point, it's going to heat up. It's going to trick us. Washington Examiner Nate Silver giving Trump a new probability of high victory. Election analyst Nate Silver gave former President Donald Trump a record high probability of winning against Vice President Kamala Harris. The bump came partially as a result of Sunday's New York Times Siena poll, which Silver has one of the highest rated pollsters. Silver's newest rating has Trump with a 63.8 probability chance compared to Harris's 36%. Now, remember, these are polls. They're not perfect. It's not this. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day, but it does show that just as many of us had predicted, that Kamala Harris was going to have some good weeks. And then after Labor Day, this thing for Kamala Harris could really start to shut down. And that's what we're seeing. That's why many of us believed that this upcoming debate tomorrow is going to be a big chance for Donald Trump. If he can just absolutely nail it tomorrow, then I think you will see a big swing in this election and even in some of the coverage of this election. We're already starting to see some of the groundwork being laid for the Democrats to throw a fit. Over the weekend, Nancy Pelosi was talking about how she's 100% sure that Kamala Harris will win the popular vote. She didn't say the Electoral College. So and I've heard this many times over the weekend and even a couple of times before I left for vacation, the Democrats are already laying the groundwork for, well, Kamala's going to win the popular vote, you know. Well, she's going to win the popular vote easily. And she might. But they're laying the groundwork for her to lose the Electoral College. They're laying the groundwork for the Democrats to come back and begin whining about the way we do elections in this country. See, when they sit around and tell you we're a democracy, it's part of laying that groundwork as well, of saying that that we need to change the way we do elections, that we need to get rid of the Electoral College. And I believe the Democrats are continuing to lay that groundwork. And I think the more you hear, you may hear a lot more of this after Tuesday night. If Kamala Harris has a bad debate, if Trump is able to expose Kamala Harris and her policies, and just today, CNN dropped a big story about Kamala Harris's past positions. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But if Trump is able to do that, even in just the first hour of the debate, when most people will be watching, I think you'll see even more of this momentum turn towards Trump in this election. When we come back, we're going to make you even hungrier as we talk about the Hub City Barbecue. It's coming up. Tell you how you can get tickets and participate, do all that kind of good stuff. We'll be right back on the Chad Hasty Show.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. VA disability compensation is a monthly tax-free payment to veterans who got sick or injured in the military and to veterans whose service worsened an existing condition. You may qualify for VA disability compensation for physical and mental health conditions that developed or worsened due to service. Learn more at va.gov/disability.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Don't you forget about Chad at Chad Hasty Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and on your radio. Now back to the Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Appreciate you tuning in today. You can follow us on X at Chad Hasty Radio. Don't forget, you can download the Chad Hasty Show podcast. It's available after every show. Just, go ahead and subscribe and follow wherever you get your favorite podcast from. The Chad Hasty Show podcast, available absolutely free, of course. Now, of course, we'll get back into the world of politics here in just a bit. But before we do that, we've got a great event coming up. One of my favorite events that happens in Lubbock, the Hub City Barbecue. And joining us in the studio, a guy who has a pretty cool title. For the just really in general, but also for the Hub City Barbecue, the Hub City Barbecue Committee Chair, Preston Williams in the studio. How are you?
Doing good, yeah. Thank you for having me.
It's a pretty good title to have, right?
It's a pretty good title.
Yeah, if you're a fan of barbecue, I guess.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
We've got the tell folks just what is the Hub City Barbecue and when is it coming up?
So the Hub City Barbecue, it's an event put on by the Chamber of Commerce. Bunch of businesses in the city, of course, that all come together and battle it out in a barbecue cooking
Have
contest.
A big cookout.
Yeah, good food, good time with friends, and just lots of good camaraderie.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be on October 3rd.
Okay. And so are you still accepting teams to compete?
We do, yeah. We accept teams really all the way up until next Monday, I believe, is the cutoff.
Okay.
Yep.
And so if there's a business that's out there, they want to get some people together, they want to go out, cook out all day, and have to suffer through having some good barbecue, they're still able to do that. What if people want to come out? Because this is a big event just for people to go out. I remember when we had it in downtown Lubbock and everyone was trying to find parking. Now it's at the South Plains Fairground, easy to park, easy for people to get in.
Yes, yeah, much better parking. We've actually expanded the entry gate, so everything should flow smoother, so everybody can get in quicker. But the actual tickets go on sale on to the public actually on September 5th.
Okay, and. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you can get those at the Chamber of Commerce, or you can actually go onto their website and purchase on the website as well.
Okay, and what does that get you when you get inside? What will people get to experience?
So once you're inside, what your ticket gets you is all-you-can-eat barbecue, free drinks, free live music. It's open from 5 to 8. So once you get in, you don't pay for anything. You just go around, eat as much as you can, have drinks, listen to live music, hang out with friends. It's just a really good, laid-back, fun time.
Yeah, and of course, there's going to be judging that goes on. I'm lucky I get to be a judge once again during the Hub City Barbecue. There's a lot of teams, obviously, that compete. What are some of the different categories that people will be competing in?
So the categories that we have this year are going to be beans, pretty self-explanatory, but there's always some pretty good creations on.
Yeah,
beans.
there are. Yeah, that's true.
Bloody Marys, of course, ribs, brisket, desserts, and we always have a mystery meat challenge. So none of the teams know what the mystery meat is until the day that they pick up their meat.
And that's sometimes it gets to be some of the most creative things that you see.
Yes.
Because, like you said, the teams have no idea until they get there. And then it's like, okay, all right, we've got limited time to put everything together because between when the judging starts and it's something that these teams they've got to think pretty quickly to get something going.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I know we had Spam a couple years ago, and that was pretty interesting. But, it changes every year.
It does, and it's something with some of the desserts. The teams get really really creative around the desserts and even some of the ribs. And I remember one year when people were experimenting greatly with the ribs, and it's like, okay, that's different.
Yes,
that's different. But they try to do just a little bit of something different to stand out from each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, something to make them pop in the judges' eyes that makes them remember.
Yeah.
Try and get that coveted barbecue trophy.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So October 3rd is the Hub City Barbecue. Tell folks once again, how do they get tickets? And I guess it's going to be out the South Plains Fair. So how do people get tickets?
Again, tickets go on sale September 5th at the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce, or you can purchase them online at the Chamber website.
All right, very easy. And, of course, it's going to be a fun day on October 3rd. Encourage people to go out, support the team, support the Chamber, and support our local businesses that are going to be out there. That's one thing that you love about it. It's local businesses. They're all competing, but they're all having fun at the same time. And then afterwards, everyone's just having one big party out at the fairgrounds, and there's live music, live entertainment out there. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, encourage folks to go ahead and be a part of that, the Hub City Barbecue. That's going to be coming up on October 3rd. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages we'll get back into. We have people texting in about food still. We'll get to that. We've also got the latest going on with tomorrow night's debate that we'll be getting into. We'll be right back.
I see love that money just can't buy. One look from you.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, debate night, everyone. The big one is here, and perhaps the only presidential debate. We'll have to see how Kamala Harris does and what the outcome is in the polls. We'll break down what to expect, plus be joined by our own Uncle Bill. That's right, Bill O'Reilly, with his debate predictions, analysis, and more. Join us on Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
Back on the Chad Hasty Show. By the way, tomorrow, as we kick off the show, we're expected to visit with Senator Ted Cruz. And we'll see. We'll see what he has to say about the debate and everything else. Texture, we're a constitutional republic, not a democracy. That's true, but remember, the Democrats always say we're a democracy. They want people to think that we're a democracy because a constitutional republic is different than a democracy. That's what laying the groundwork means. When they want people to rethink how we do elections in this country and how people are represented in this country. Have a few folks who have weighed in. I love this on the app chat. Cindy in Amarillo weighed in. Well, I hope you two are happy. Now you made me stop on the way home to get cheese sticks. By the way, the best ones, in my opinion, are the cheese logs and walk-ons in Amarillo. Y'all are awesome. It has been, and I don't know why it's been a long time since I've been to walk-ons here in Lubbock. They're good. I like the food there. I haven't been in a while, and I can't remember. The cheese logs. Got to be honest. But I remember the food's really good, so I would assume that the fried cheese or the cheese logs are good as well. They got to be big too. Like if you're gonna call it a cheese log, it's got to be big. It's got to be a log o' cheese. Another texter says the best cheese sticks are at Spanky's. You can text in, if you want to text in your favorite place to get cheese sticks. Nick may be very happy about that, as he is eating a meal tonight consisting of only cheese sticks. He thought I would be upset about this for some reason. I am not. I have no problem, no quarrel with you wanting to eat only cheese sticks. That's fine. It's like if you order nachos. A lot of places will put nachos under an appetizer. You can make that a full meal. So a cheese stick, just like that's fine. Now 20 cheese sticks sounds like a lot to me, but Nick he's going for it. He's going for the 15 to 20 cheese sticks. But if you're going with the frozen cheese sticks, then okay. That might be something. Hey, let's see here. Okay, we got a couple of texts here from Dr. Bombasa, Fort Worth starter, beer battered redfish. Now you had me with the beer battered, and I'll say this about I don't know if I've had beer battered redfish, but in Alaska we did try the beer battered salmon. Like instead of regular fish and chip, I guess as a cod, we tried the fish and chip as a salmon, and that was different. It was good. It was different. Same texture at the Great State Fair of Texas. 2 Fletcher's corn dogs. I'm still upset with the State Fair of Texas. They're putting everybody in danger. Not with the corn dogs, but with their gun policy. They're putting everybody in danger. Now come on in and grab the tickets. It's okay. You're good. Let's see. See, we do everything in real time up here. Otherwise, he would just be camping out for like 10 minutes. It's like, just come on in. You can come in, grab the tickets. By the way, I do have to say, people wearing their Dallas Cowboy gear the day after the game, all the Cowboy fans very happy. Very happy. Cowboy fans, we're thinking, we're having good thoughts right now. Cowboy fans having good thoughts right now. Just don't go in fully yet. Don't do it, folks. Another text. The hypocrisy is so deep with the Democrats when it chest waiters. Some are full, so full of fecal matter, their eyes are brown. And from Robert, 806-680-2790. So Kamala Harris, and I can't believe CNN is dropping this story the night before the debate. Harris telling the ACLU in 2019 that she supports cuts to ICE funding and wanting to provide gender transition surgery to detained migrants. As Kamala Harris pivots towards the political center in her campaign for president, she's not pivoting, folks. She's giving everyone lip service right now. She is a far, far, far lefty. She's not changing anything. Bernie Sanders over the weekend was asked, do you think Kamala Harris is moderating her opinion? No, she's just being practical to win an election. Aha, there we go. She's trying to win. She's not changing anything. But this from CNN as Harris continues to pivot towards the political center for her campaign for president. In a 2019 questionnaire from a leading civil rights organization, spotlights her past support for left-wing causes, such as taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained illegal immigrants and federal prisoners. That's right, you'd be paying for the sex changes of illegal immigrants and federal prisoners. That's what Kamala Harris wants. That's her dream. Come to America, get a sex change for free. In an ACLU questionnaire, then Senator Harris filled out a candidate questionnaire for president in 2020. She expressed support for decriminalizing federal drug possession for personal use and for sweeping reductions to immigration and custom enhancement enforcement operations, including drastic cuts on ICE funding and an open-ended pledge to end immigration detention. The questionnaire has received very little media attention. A spokesperson for the ACLU claimed it had remained live from 2019. But the ACLU's website upload and page source indicates the questionnaire was reposted last month after Harris became the presumptive nominee. CNN was unable to find the questionnaires filled out by other candidates from the 2020 campaign that the ACLU had reposted. Harris has acknowledged that some of her stances have evolved over time, and she holds core beliefs that remain unshakable. Quote, "My values have not changed," she said in an interview with CNN last month. Folks, this is who she is. She's not a moderate. She's not a moderate. She's not a blue dog Democrat. She's a California communist. If that hits too hard for you, okay. She's a California liberal. That's where she is. That's what she believes. She is telling the truth when she says, my values have not changed. They haven't. She's just trying to win an election by attempting to show that she's moderating on some issues. She hasn't. She's trying to win. It's a great thing she's doing campaign-wise. Politically speaking, it's very smart. Again, if you're Elizabeth Warren, who is a far lefty, if you are part of the squad who are far lefties, if you're Bernie Sanders, who's a far lefty, you can't win a national election. Just like there are some who believe Ted Cruz is too conservative to win a national election. That's why they always say, well, you got to reach out to the base during the primaries, and then once you run for president, you got to run to the middle. Basically, you lie to everybody. And that's what Kamala Harris is doing, and that's what she's going to attempt to do tomorrow night. She's going to attempt to be a joyful person, a joyous person, who is coming at you from the middle where we can all be unified, but she's not that person. And this little piece of news that has dropped tonight, I'm hoping that the Trump campaign can use it tomorrow. I'm hoping Trump uses this tomorrow and gets to ask Kamala Harris, hey, do you still support giving illegal immigrants sex changes? The borders you didn't do a damn thing about the border. Well, now we know why. Because you don't believe in immigration. Excuse me. In stopping illegal immigration. You don't believe in immigration detention. You don't believe in borders. When we come back, we'll get into more of this. Scott Braddock will also join the program. Your phone calls, your text, and much more.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media. Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is The Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
All right, back on the Chad Hasty Show. Appreciate you being out there today. Got a lot of other national news to be getting into that we will hear in just a little bit, including an interesting story out of the Wall Street Journal today about the growing number of Americans who just don't want to talk about politics. They don't want to talk about it. Get away. They don't want to talk about politics. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear any debate. They don't want to hear about any of that stuff. And so we'll talk about that here in probably after the bottom of the hour. Joining us now, someone who's never afraid to talk about politics. It's our good friend Scott Braddock, editor of QuorumReport.com. Scott, how are you this evening?
Doing well, Chad. It has been a beautiful weekend in Central Texas and all across the great state. As you look at the temperatures, I was in San Antonio for part of the weekend. They're at the historic Menger Hotel right there on the Alamo Plaza.
Nice.
And you've got to love this, Chad, as a fellow cigar smoker. When you're in the courtyard there at the Menger, which of course has a bar that goes back to the 1800s, which is just so cool. They've got the pictures of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders in there, and all the saddle and tack that they used to use back in the day. Which, did you know, when Teddy Roosevelt came through with the Rough Riders, you know who sold them their saddle and tack? Was the family of former Speaker Joe Strauss. Because they were always known as horsemen down there in San Antonio and South Texas. But when you're sitting in the courtyard, they have big signs up that say what? They say smoking is permitted. And they've got rocking chairs there and the ashtrays. You sit with your cigar, coffee in the morning. It's just fantastic. You don't get that same kind of accommodation anywhere in Austin. It's almost like they don't. You've got to absolutely go to one of our fine cigar lounges if you want to enjoy that. But being able to sit out with a cigar outside with your coffee in the morning, it's one of the pleasures in life, right?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've got quite a bit to get to. Let's go ahead and get to some news that I guess it came out last week, and that is Rick Perry is back.
That's right. He is joining the office of Speaker Dade Phelan as a senior advisor for now. We don't know how long this is going to last, but it is interesting that you do have, and I've never seen this, where the former governor comes back to work for one of the big three, and to add to that, I had heard that there was some grumbling out of Governor Abbott's office that he was unhappy about this. I don't know that this was the exact quote, but Governor Abbott may have this feeling right now about this, that we really only have one governor at a time around here. He doesn't really want to be upstaged by Rick Perry. You have Perry coming in, of course, shouldn't be a surprise, as far as which of the big three he joined. Remember, during the primary and the runoff, you had Governor Perry actively campaigning for Speaker Dade Phelan in his district that's anchored in Beaumont. Perry has been somebody who's been outspoken about the need to, in some ways, kind of get back to the way we have done things previously in Texas, where Republicans generally tried to work with each other and not be in the middle of a civil war all the time.
Yeah.
And you might remember, we reported it at QuorumReport.com. We talked about it here on your show, that when Perry was talking to voters in Beaumont, he did some lecturing of the current Republican leadership when you have Lieutenant Governor Patrick running around saying that we shouldn't have Democratic chairmen in the House, and Governor Abbott saying the same thing. You had Perry adding the historic perspective and saying that when Perry was lieutenant governor, he had Democratic chairman, and he said, who else has Democratic chairman? Dan Patrick. He has had Democratic chairman every year that he's been, in office. And so a lot of it seemed hypocritical to him. And it was my understanding that at some point, and I can report this for the first time here on your show, Chad, it's my understanding that Perry called Lieutenant Governor Patrick, had a conversation with him at some point during that campaign, and said, you're going too far with all of this. The attacks on the House, the attacks on the Speaker, and the way that governance has been done in Texas for decades and decades, going back to when Democrats were in charge and they had Republican chairmen, and vice versa now that Republicans are in charge. Patrick needed to back up on all that. Now, of course, Patrick hasn't moved at all on that. He's still blowing up the Speaker all the time, attacking him on social media and in fundraising emails. But this is going to be a very interesting thing, and I wonder if Perry coming on board, who of course has, as my publisher this afternoon, Harvey Kronberg, wrote at QuorumReport.com, Perry has impeccable Republican credentials, right? He's a long-time, 14-year Republican governor. He served in the Trump administration. It's really hard to say this guy's a rhino, but as you know, some people are trying to do that, Chad. It'd be interesting to see if this does help to sort of allay the fears of some Republicans who think that they're going to be nonstop attacked if they support Dade Phelan for another term as Speaker.
I think it's very interesting. And like you, I can't remember a former governor doing something like this. And I think someone who may be even more upset about it than Governor Abbott would be Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, as he has been much more vocal about his dislike of the current Speaker. And like you said, I think Perry getting involved may give some ground cover to some of these Republicans when it comes to a Speaker's vote. And again, who knows how long Perry will be around? It wouldn't surprise me if Perry stays around as long as he wants to stay around. I think the Speaker would probably be okay with that. And at least through a Speaker's vote, I think Perry could maybe give some cover to some of these other Republicans out there, because there are a lot of voters, and I'll put it this way, there are a lot of voters who still like Rick Perry. I think some of the loudest activists on Twitter may not like Rick Perry anymore, but the voters still like Rick Perry.
Yeah, and I do think that it was something that was, really key to Phelan's reelection in Southeast Texas, was to have one of the elder statesmen of the Republican Party in Texas come in and speak up for the Speaker's, conservative credentials, and to say, look, he is the kind of Republican that you do want to have in office. But it's a very interesting point you raise about Lieutenant Governor Patrick. It's been my understanding, and the reporting on this has been that Perry and Patrick have had a friendly relationship, that they have a good working relationship, and I think that if they indeed did have a conversation at some point about, all of Patrick's attacks on Phelan and Perry, really disagreeing. And look, whether they had that conversation or not, I'm going to stick by the reporting. But whether they did or not, it's been very clear that Perry does not approve of what Dan Patrick has been doing in attacking the speaker the way that he has. I'll be interested to see if, because they do have that good relationship, or at least they have had one, Chad, if some of Patrick's attacks on the speaker, if he might calm down a little bit with some of that, now that you do have somebody who's been an ally of Patrick working in the speaker's office.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting to see.
Stuff,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be very interesting to see how that plays out now and into the future. What are you looking forward towards hearing in the debate tomorrow evening?
Well, this is going to be a throwdown for the ages, I'm sure. Here you have a completely reset race for the presidency, and it seems as if, you correct me if I'm wrong, it seems as if the Trump campaign wants this more than the Harris campaign does. I mean, as we've talked about, she has only done one interview so far, with and it was with CNN, of course, and they were very friendly to her. That's being nice about it, and didn't really press her to answer the questions on policy, and didn't really press her about why she has, dramatically changed her positions from, some of the very liberal things she said when she was first running for president back in 2019 and 2020 versus the things that she's saying now, taking what I would describe as much more moderate positions on things like fracking, on things like Medicare for all, and all that sort of stuff. She's really moved back to the middle, having not had to, run in one of those Democratic primaries where, so many of those candidates would be trying to, I guess I'll just say they were trying to out-liberal each other. One person's probably going to get the chance, if he can stay on message, which is always a challenge, one person, Donald Trump, gets the chance to press her about why she changed so dramatically on those things. And, of course, the cynical view would simply be that, she's running for president now in a general election, and to use her words, she's unburdened by what has been when she was, making those previous pronouncements that were so liberal. I think President Trump really has an opportunity, if he can stay on message, which I know that the people around him, have been really frustrated about. He has the opportunity to really capitalize on some things. If you look at the polling on key issues, think about the economy, immigration, and other key crime, other key things that people are concerned about in this country. Inflation, to put that under the heading of economy as well. Voters trust Republicans more on those things. And if the president, the former president, could stick to talking about those things, he'd probably do pretty well. But the problem is he starts, ranting and raving about his past grievances, about how the last election was stolen from him and all that sort of stuff, which really, Chad, I think we've talked about this before. Whatever you think about the election being stolen or not in 2020, and of course I would say it absolutely was not. There's no evidence of that, and that's completely made up. But we all know people who think that it was. Whatever you think about that, it's in the past. People want to hear about the future, what you're going to do in the future. And, President Trump's problem over and over again has been, being so focused on his personal grievances about the way people are attacking him and the way the election was, quote unquote, stolen from him. And, particularly these swing voters, the people in the states that are going to make the difference, they just don't even care about that stuff. They don't want to hear about that. They want to know, what are you going to do on the border? What are you going to do on the economy? What are you going to do on, national defense? And, if you've seen this report that's, being put together by Michael McCall on the withdrawal from Afghanistan, people do care about world affairs and those sorts of things. They want to be focused on the future. And it is pretty wild. This is a really nifty trick by the Democrats, I will say, that they have a vice president who's now running for president, who, of course, is part of the current regime in Washington. And she is effectively getting to run right now as the change candidate, the person who's going to shift things up, when Republicans could very easily, and he should, Trump could easily stand there on stage and say, if things are bad now, it's your fault. And we'll see if he's able to do that.
Well, and I think he will be able to, and I think he will. And here's and I think Republicans get concerned, especially with Trump, more so when he's giving a speech these days. Because that's when he starts going into And like you said, with the election stuff, you're not going to convince anyone of anything at this time. Like, that's in the past. And I've said
people are where they're at on that.
Yeah, I've said forever on the show, if you look towards the future, that's what people want to hear about, and that's where that's where the voters are right now. And I think during speeches, that's where some people get a little bit worried. Let's not forget, Trump is not bad when it comes to debates. He was able to demolish a group of Republicans who were seasoned debaters. He was able to take down Hillary Clinton, and he, with the help of Democrats and maybe CNN, he was able to throw Joe Biden overboard in this last debate. So he's not bad on the debate stage. Now, people can hem and haw about whether everything he says is true or not. I think you can do that about both sides when it comes to the current debate formats. But that first hour of the debate against Joe Biden, Trump was pretty good. Biden was horrible, but it was a low bar for Joe. Joe Biden was bad in that debate. But I think Trump has shown that he can actually hold his own in a debate. And I think if you're Kamala Harris, there's a lot to hit Kamala Harris on if you're Donald Trump. And if you can do it for the first hour, that's when most eyeballs are going to be watching. And I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah, and I think it's in line with what we've been saying. I think that former President Trump has the most to gain, and Vice President Harris probably has the most to lose, because she is in what I have described. I've described it this way about other candidates who just aren't doing a lot of interviews or the kind of public appearance where you have an interaction with journalists or really with voters either. Vice President Harris is sort of in the candidate protection program.
Yeah,
they're keeping her very disciplined and giving those speeches and hitting her talking points. President Trump, of course, is doing those rambling speeches like you're talking about. If she can get in, if he can get some hits in on her, like I was talking about, with main thing being explaining why your positions have so radically changed, where she just hasn't been forced to do that. He can make up a lot of ground there, but she definitely has the most to lose. I mean, she has had the wind at her back ever since the Democrats have done the reset at the top of the ticket, and what happens tomorrow night could be pivotal for where this race goes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Scott, tell folks what else they can find over at quorumreport.com.
We've got it all covered for you, what's happening with your state government in real time. As always, quorumreport.com. Click on free sign up, and we'll get you going.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Scott Braddock, editor of quorumreport.com. Scott, we'll talk to you next week. Have a great day. We'll be right back.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at kfyo.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, debate night, everyone. The big one is here, and perhaps the only presidential debate. We'll have to see how Kamala Harris does and what the outcome is in the polls. We'll break down what to expect, plus be joined by our own Uncle Bill. That's right, Bill O'Reilly, with his debate predictions, analysis, and more. Join us on Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
On the Chad Hasty Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Mark in California weighing in. California is not communist, it's more socialist. Let's keep that straight, Chad. And from Mark in California. Kamala Harris is more communist, though, right now. In at least what she believes than anything else. Another texter, someone was interviewing Bernie Sanders. He said exactly what you're saying. She's just saying what she needs to get elected. Well, that's exactly right. And we have the audio from Meet the Press. Bernie Sanders this weekend being interviewed. Here's what he had to say in that interview.
Described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election. My own view is slightly different. I think that in America today there are a lot of people.
The rest of what he says is gibberish, but he at the heart of it, listen to what he had to say. He said that she's trying to win the election. She's being pragmatic, and she has to win the election. This is what that's what they have to do. Now, Bernie, he basically says that his hypnos is a little bit different. They're not, though. Bernie Sanders, if he were running for president, he'd be running as a 100% Democrat socialist. He probably wouldn't moderate his views. He probably wouldn't change his views just to get elected. Kamala Harris isn't changing her views. She's giving lip service to people. CNN reported tonight during one of the town hall events in New Hampshire in 2019, Harris was asked by a voter if she supports a third gender added to federal identification cards. Quote, sure, Harris answered to the group during a round of applause. I have my entire life and career been an ally, and I see the issue of LGBT rights as a fundamental civil right and human rights issue. In her response, Harris attacked the Trump administration's efforts to ban transgender troops in the military, calling it outrageous. Of course, the Harris campaign did not answer any questions from CNN on whether she continued to support any of these positions. She also, by the way, supports giving out transgender surgeries to those who are here illegally. When asked about criminal justice reform on the questionnaire, she wrote that she would end immigration detention facilities along with private prisons. Harris also said she supported decreasing funding for ICE. Harris wrote in 2018 she had introduced the Detention Oversight, Not Expansion Act to increase the oversight of Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facilities, slash detention by at least 50%, and halt funding for the construction and expansion of new facilities. This is why she didn't do a damn thing about the border. She doesn't care. She wants the border to be wide open. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and more.
Call in to the Chad Hasty Show at 1-800-687-0790. The Chad Hasty Show, broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network.
Today's markets from the Texas Department of Ag.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Texas feeder cattle auctions were down, reported prices steady to $10 lower. Cattle futures were up, with October live cattle futures up $1.75 to close at $176.92. And September feeder cattle futures were up $3.42 to close at $237.72. October cotton futures were up, closing at $67.54. September wheat futures were up a nickel, closing at $5.75. And September corn was steady to close at $3.84 per bushel. September soybean futures are up 11 cents, closing at $10. And September soybean meal futures were down 60 cents to close at $317.80. September Class 3 milk futures were up 21 cents, closing at $22.99. And October crude oil futures were up 91 cents, trading at $68.57 per barrel. And the Dow Jones was up 484 points to close at 40,829. And that's the market roundup from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm Marshall Webb, filling in for Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. You're listening to The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, back on the Chad Hasty Show. Thank you for tuning in today. You can send in your thoughts on the text line, 806-680-2790. Ruckus weighing in, saying what Nick is doing with the cheese sticks is called girl dinner. Nick, is that true? Is this what's called girl dinner? What's going on here?
You know, I'm shocked. I don't know if I'm very shocked that Ruckus knows what girl dinner means.
I have no idea what it means.
Well, I know 50% of what it means.
Okay.
It was a very popular trend. And this is why I'm confused. I'm shocked that Ruckus knows it. This is a very trendy phrase, hip. It's what the kids are doing.
Oh.
So no offense, Ruckus, but you know, I don't picture you on top of what the lingo.
Well, remember, he's a married man now.
That's true.
And so maybe his wife is filling him in on some of this.
That could be the case. Yeah. So I don't know. This whole concept of girl dinner is supposed to be. It's just another label that they threw on it. It's just you eat something that's kind of weird. It's like a bunch of snacks and you call it a dinner. It's like, you know, a box of crackers and then maybe a cheese stick, and then you call it, quote, girl dinner. I've never used the term myself. Frankly, I don't really know anybody who uses that term seriously, mostly in jest when they're just mocking it. But it is a thing. And there you go. Ruckus just introduced everybody to it. So that's girl dinner. It's just a bunch of small snacks that you make a dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are not having girl dinner.
I'm not having girl dinner.
No.
I'm having mozzarella sticks.
You're just having mozzarella sticks for dinner. Yeah.
You could call it a quote girl dinner.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that.
I'm going to. Here's how I rule on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not girl dinner.
Sure.
On this one for you.
You don't think girls are going to eat 15 to 20 mozzarella sticks?
No, I don't see girls eating 15 to 20. Now, if you were having like a, like 2 cheese sticks, an apple, and maybe like something else on the side, then maybe that's girl dinner. But 15 to 20 cheese sticks. That's just a dude hanging out eating cheese sticks. That at that point, that's really what that comes down to. I think if you were to say, and I know he won't, and Nick is now on the phone doing his job, but if Nick were to tell me I'm going to have 15 to 20 cheese sticks and watch the Jets take down the 49ers tonight, then okay. That I think people would sit here and go, that's just a guy watching football. That's just a guy watching football. I think is what they would say. Let's see. Lawrence weighing in. Chad, to borrow a phrase, I want to be unburdened from the past 3 years. Let's see. This is Bill in Amarillo. What I had in mind is Trump should ask her during the debate if she wins the election, would she keep Buttigieg as Secretary of Transportation? I don't know if he would ask her. I think there's a lot of other things to ask her rather than that. Let's see, a texture weighing in with the from the Cleveland Clinic. What to know about girl dinner? 806-680. People are quick tonight. 806-680-2790. You can weigh in on any of the topics that we've gotten into this evening. Obviously, a lot of the talking points towards the election. There was a story out earlier today. This from Breitbart. Kamala Harris to cast herself as an agent of change. After years in power, Vice President Kamala Harris will likely try to cast herself as an agent of change during Tuesday's debate. Under the Biden-Harris administration, cost have soared about 20% across the board. Migrant crime spiked, illegal immigrants invading the southern border, Russia invading Ukraine, 13 troops died during the Afghan withdrawal. Former President Donald Trump, who is the most experienced debater in the modern age, according to CNN, will slam Harris on those issues, holding Harris accountable for the administration's failed policies. Quote, we want to keep him steered towards hitting a record on fracking, on her flip-flops. I want to show that she is just as responsible for the Biden administration's failed policies as Biden is. Many of Harris's policy solutions remain ambiguous, leaving Trump a powerful line of attacks to cast her as a slippery politician and a flip-flopper. Harris allegedly changed her view outright or flip-flopped or has an unknown position in 9 areas, including banning plastic straws, a mandate for only producing electric and hydrogen vehicles by 2035, banning fracking, gun confiscation, decriminalizing illegally crossing the southern border, reparations, building a border wall, federal jobs guarantee, and Medicare for all. Now, Harris has now put a policy position on her website the night before the debate. This was something that most likely Trump was going to hit her on. Harris finally adding a policy page to her campaign website, devotes several sections to Donald Trump, according to Fox News. The website breaks Harris and her VP running mate, Tim Walz's policy proposals into 4 sections: building an opportunity economy and lower costs for families, safeguarding our fundamental freedoms, ensuring safety and justice for all, and keeping America safe, secure, and prosperous. Before the new edition, Harris's campaign website had pages to buy merchandise, donate, and get to know the candidate's background, but was devoid of any policy plans for weeks, even after she accepted the nomination. Harris's website includes a promise to cut taxes for middle-class families by ensuring that no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay more in taxes. The website promises Harris and Walz will ensure the wealthiest Americans and largest corporations pay their, quote, fair share. And so we can't take action to build up the middle class while reducing the deficit. So the Harris campaign finally adding policies, or at least policy sections, to her website. So that'll be an area that she takes away from Trump, yet there will be policy questions that Trump will hit her on. And he needs to. Again, you look at where this race is heading and look at a number of different polling websites that are out there. And while Kamala Harris has not lost her lead in some swing states, she's beginning to stall in these swing states. And some polls have her beginning to lose in some of these swing states. So it's going to be very important. Tomorrow night's debate is going to be very, very important. And remember, for those of you in Lubbock, don't forget, we're going to have a debate watch party at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. You're invited to come out. It's absolutely free, thanks to our great sponsors of the evening, West Texas Fireplaces, Williams Brake Tune and Tire, and the Knife Guys. The doors open at 7 p.m. The debate starts at 8 p.m. I would advise you to get there early, as it will fill up. So first come, first serve. There will be no assigned seating, even if they ask you to get a ticket so they can keep account of how many people are coming in. You won't have to pay anything, but you will not get a guaranteed seat. You will not have a seat assigned to you. So come in and get a seat while you can. Get there early, and then send someone to go get you some popcorn and a drink, all that kind of good stuff. But attending the debate, absolutely free at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. I'll be there. Nick will be there. Who knows who else will be in attendance as well. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and much more on the Chad Easty Show.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, debate night, everyone. The big one is here, and perhaps the only presidential debate. We'll have to see how Kamala Harris does and what the outcome is in the polls. We'll break down what to expect, plus be joined by our own Uncle Bill. That's right, Bill O'Reilly, with his debate predictions, analysis, and more. Join us on Clay and Buck.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
To the Chad HD Show. Appreciate you being out there as we begin to wrap things up. You can send in your thoughts on the text line 806-680-2790. Texture, this is Mark in California. My question to Nick is his girlfriend, fiance, out of town? This sounds like the kind of dinner I have when my wife is gone. So she's not out of town, Nick. Pop on the microphone here.
She is in fact in town. She is home.
Yeah.
But we had a very nice, delicious home cooked meal last night. So we sometimes we go nights in a row, but usually it's 3 to 4 nights a week that we'll cook at home. Every once in a while we'll do a day where we just kind of we're on our own.
Yeah, you do your own thing.
Yeah, with leftovers or a little frozen food or something. So we do cook and we have delicious meals, which we just did last night. It was a pork with rice, zucchini, delicious. But today I thought, you know what?
You just feel like some cheese sticks.
I just feel like some cheese sticks today.
Yeah.
And you know what she's probably going to do? I don't know, maybe some leftovers. She's going to do, I don't know, she's currently drinking tea. So,
did she
maybe
roll
she'll
her
have tea for
eyes
dinner?
when she told you, when you told her I'm going to have cheese sticks for dinner? Did she kind of go,
no,
roll her eyes and do, okay, Nick?
She did not, because she is guilty of that as well. She has eaten. There have been many times, many a night where she's had cheese sticks for
15 to 20.
Not 15 to 20.
Okay.
So she can't have gluten.
Yeah.
So she has these special gluten-free cheese sticks that double the price of normal cheese
of course,
mozzarella sticks, which is always fun. So she'll have that. She usually eats one box at a time, and one box is like 8.
Yeah.
8, maybe 9,
Okay.
9 mozzarella sticks. So she'll do that.
Yeah.
So she is perfectly on board. There's no judgment cast on
I
either
think
of
you
us.
should do more than 20. I think you should do.
Just see how
see
get
how
a
far you
stomachache
can go.
tonight.
Yeah.
Just push it
Just
and
keep
and
going, buddy.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. I'll let you know how that goes tomorrow. I'm 99%. I'm not going to do that. But hey, maybe I will. If I'm feeling bold.
If you're like at 20 and you're like, you know what?
You know what? Put some more in the oven. I'll take some more.
I think I could do 10 more.
Yeah.
And just see how far you can go with the cheese stick here.
If I had a dippable, if I had a sauce, then I think I could eat probably more. But I
thought you said you don't like the sauce.
I don't like the sauce it comes with.
Yeah.
But I'll do a little ranch maybe. A little ranch on my
See, there you go.
some mozzarella sticks or something. Look, I have a hot sauce. I have barbecue. I have a whole bunch of sauces.
Barbecue on a
experiment.
cheese stick.
It's very good.
I've never.
It's just another deep fried put a little barbecue sauce on it.
I've never thought about doing a barbecue sauce on a cheese stick. I get the cheese stick, the mozzarella stick, the cheese log, whatever you want to call it.
The sauce, you do the marinara sauce?
I don't need any sauce.
Really?
I don't need any sauce. I just do the cheese stick. I'm good.
See,
I'm an animal. I don't need the sauce. Other people look at me weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need the marinara. I don't need that. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
I will say, nice to have, but I don't need it. I can just grab the cheese stick and go.
That's how I am with Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Yeah.
I won't put any sauce on my sandwich.
Not who does?
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement on that.
On like the original Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Right, yeah. You got
it's
your
the
chicken,
original Chick-fil-A sandwich. Don't mess with the original.
Your chicken, your bread, a couple of pickles. That's it.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else. You don't need to. You don't need to dip it. You don't need to put any sauce on it. No, I'm with you.
And then my dry fries. Sometimes if I'm feeling crazy, a little wild,
yeah,
I will. I'll do the honey mustard or the buffalo sauce.
Let me tell you something. Whataburger fries with the Whataburger ketchup or the spicy ketchup, fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
I'll take your. I haven't been to Whataburger, and hey, you know what? Now's my opportunity, though. They, coming on the show there. I think
absolutely. You need to go by a Whataburger. Absolutely. Our good friends over at the Big Whataburger, which, by the way, I met somebody on Friday. This guy, and there's his name is Calvin Cadbury. Met him on Friday because my wife said, "Hey, on your way home, stop by Whataburger, pick up a couple of burgers." Well, she's still laid up a little bit with the COVID. She still has the COVID. So to the texter who said, when my wife is gone, I have cheese sticks. She's doing better. She's doing better, but she's very tired still. So we're not doing a lot of cooking, and that means, for football weekend, it was let's go get some chips and queso. Let's get some tortilla. It's going to be easy. We're going to have some fun foods around here for the weekend. But Friday, I'm on my way home. I pick up Whataburger, and while I'm there, I meet this guy who pulls up in a Jeep that has like Whataburger stickers all over it. And I'm going, okay, maybe he's a delivery driver. Maybe he's like the ultimate Whataburger fan. He has a Jeep that's labeled the Whata Jeep, and he has visited over 165 Whataburger locations. He's a veteran and a Marine. God bless him. And he's gone to different states, and he just travels around to different Whataburgers. Over 165 locations. It's amazing. Nick's Cheese Stick Challenge. I like it. I'm going to say Nick needs to at least eat 20 cheese sticks tonight. At least 20. Nick, let me know. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.